Hello, little loves. Welcome to episode 4 of Kiszmet. I'm Kiszmet. Kiszmet is a podcast. It's a mission. It's a message, right? Now, the word Kiszmet, we'll just do a quick recap for anyone new here. Kiszmet comes from the Turkish word or Arabic word Kiszmet, right, which means destiny or fate. And I talk about how we have to earn our fate. Now, specifically, my tagline is the science and art of connection. So here we talk about the art and science of relating, right? Almost the data layer of relational intelligence. Okay, now this goes beyond romantic, etc., but I started this to find the love of my life, yes? And, we've done relatively well in terms of exposure, getting the message out there. We've helped millions of primarily women, right? Because I'm straight, so I want to talk to women, so I'm focused on them right now. But we got about 400,000 followers across platforms, right? It's done pretty well in terms of helping bring something that we all feel online, right? A lot of times we suffer in silence. We are lonely. We are social creatures. We are human beings, right? Lesser evolved animals come together, live in packs and tribes, mate. That is the dance, right? Life is the deepest value and what allows life to exist, procreation and mating. It is what drives everyone's programs. There's no, it's 2025, so we've evolved, we've changed. You haven't evolved past eating food. You don't need to. That's a part of our organism. That is who we are. That is how we are. And it is not a weakness to want connection, the deepest of which is love. Now, deeper than romantic love, we've talked about this, is the love probably at the highest extent a mother has for its child, should have for its child. But in today's episode, this is episode 4, right? You can find the rest on YouTube, the podcast, etc. The channel is It's Kiszmet, Kiszmet. If you're already here, you know what the channel is, but you can find this. You can listen to it on the way to work. If you're a woman, we're going to try to reduce you from having stress, okay? From doing a career, becoming the boss babe that you need a man to take care of for you, right? But you can listen to it on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, TikTok and Instagram have the short form versions, and YouTube and Rumble host my long form now. I do better at long form. It's how my brain works. So in today's episode, I don't actually have a designated topic. I feel like I never really do, but there's a lot to talk about, okay? Because actually there is a message that I want to focus on today. And honestly, it's born of empathy. Now, they say those things that, being empathetic and analytical or almost compassionate and analytical or justice-oriented are inversely related, right? That to be like a mercenary, to get things done, you can't be prone to people's sensitivities and to hearing every side. You gotta be like a mercenary, right? And men are like this in general, in the sense that the more analytical they are, sometimes it can be conflated for narcissism, self-indulgence, etc. Men are more narcissistic than women on average, more self-indulgent if anything, and that is not a negative, because a man who's too humble won't be able to serve himself to build and create a kingdom of which then you want to get into, right? Choose him for that. But point being that there are going to be some pauses like this when I want to make sure that I'm getting the message across accurately. But point being that with men, right, and women, yes, we are different, all these types of things. No. I want to get to this message of connection. We were talking about, I always get triggered when I think about the whole narcissistic buzzword stuff, because it makes me want to go into combative mode against women and be like, those are buzzwords, you're just not taking accountability for what you could be putting out. But the truth is that this video, I specifically don't want it to be combative, right? I want to come at this from a different angle. And this is what I wanted to get to. Now it's called connecting in my head, which is that this message today is driven largely through empathy, right? Now, I'm a very, you can call it avoidant, self-sufficient, selfish, whatever you want to call it, kind of guy, okay? I've had a lot of short-term relations. I am more than happy to not love bomb a woman and tell her exactly what I think I'm entitled to, okay? And sometimes women can consider my intensity love bombing, but the point is, underneath all of that, it's almost like I'm bringing a voice to all the men maybe that you may not understand, who may have some good light under them, right? And obviously the men you've liked, it would be a very poor reflection on you if you think that they're all bad, right? Just toxic, all this stuff. What does that say about you choosing them, right? Nothing in life is that simple. Now, I simplify these concepts so they're digestible, but chances are he exhibited good qualities as well, right? Virtues that you like. It's almost like, why do you like the bad boy? Because he has the ability to say no. He can stand up for himself, right? He's willing to take what he wants. Ideally, then those things come to benefit you because he cares about you, right? But when that flips, it's easy to be like, he was bad from the start, etc. Then what does that say about your intuition, right? So what I'm doing almost is that a lot of times men are less verbal. Men are less emotionally intelligent than women, okay? They're more externally intelligent. Intellectual quotient, they're more analytical on average than women. But I have spent so much time, this is the third year of this mission. I mean, I've been on this mission since the Big Bang to find the love of my life, but in understanding women very intimately, okay? I've been doing this for a while. And I come at it from a science angle, but I have a lot of experience with women. And beyond that, just hearing from women every day, I get so many stories. It's like that whole grandmaster thing in chess. You become a grandmaster with 10,000 hours or whatever it is. If you read 3 books on a topic, you're a better expert than the majority of 80% of the world or whatever. They make up all these stats. But point being is, it feels like I'm in a woman's sleepover with their girlfriends every day because of the things I hear, right? So unless my intuition's completely off, and my intuition's very good, I would say, but you learn patterns, you see patterns. Even a complete idiot would probably learn some patterns, right? So even if you think I'm an idiot, that's fine. I still have something to share here that could be of use to you. So, I just had to reset the song, but yeah, sometimes it's almost like I have to remind myself to not go on the tangent to become combative. I really want this video to be like I'm taking care of my daughters or the love of my life, because it's easy for me. A lot of women now are masculinized where they're combative with men, right? They debate men, etc. And for a man, when his cortisol spikes, when his testosterone and aggression is there, when there's a challenge, it's not like he goes through the second layer in his prefrontal cortex to be like, oh, okay, this is a woman, treat her differently, etc. If he cares about the woman, sure, because she's releasing oxytocin, and that's the type of woman a man would be into in the first place. The softness soothes him where he can almost process her better. This is why a lot of times in the evening when a man's testosterone drops a bit, right? Men have on average a 24-hour testosterone cycle. Don't worry, we're going to relate this all back, but in the morning, his testosterone's highest. Then there tends to be a drop in the evening, then a little spike, and then it starts going up through the night. So in the evening, they're almost a little bit more feminine coded, where they may open up to you more, etc. Whereas the good morning boys are trying to love bomb at the beginning, right, in the morning. So point being that, yeah, I have to catch myself when I'm being combative, etc. And I don't want to do that. But what I'm trying to get at is that my emotional intelligence is really just very high intellectual curiosity, really turned into problem solving and understanding these patterns. But if anything, let's just say that, right? Let's just say I'm not the trad full alpha type. Maybe there is some femininity in me, because intuition, if anything, is a more feminine virtue, right? But the point is, I'm giving a voice almost to these male narcissists in the sense not to defend them, but to help you understand them, right? Because we all really are kids just trying to connect in this world in every capacity, romantic and otherwise, right? This is everyone's first time on this planet. So this isn't to excuse poor behaviors on either a man or a woman's side, but most men are too much. It's like the bad boys are too much in their homunculus to be able to verbally express themselves, because they're either feeling too much aggression or their emotions short circuit, so they can't express themselves. Then the men who are too emotionally eloquent and very well aware of their feelings, they're not doing anything in life, right? So they're just sitting in a muck of their feelings. So it's very rare to find this almost emotionally androgynous guy where 80% of me is this very masculine thing. Now, I don't believe that men and women both have masculine and feminine energies. No, men have masculine energy, women have feminine energy. We have overlapping hormones, but even if we were to tap into those hormones, let's say the man's testosterone for that 24-hour cycle thing is lower. For example, when a woman goes to talk therapy, she wants to feel heard. This is the classic thing of, you go to your guy with your problems, you don't want him to just problem solve, right? Or they say it helps a lot in relations when a man says, do you want solutions or do you want me to listen, right? Now, he should, at the highest level, he should be able to intuit that based on pattern recognition, but not everyone is like that, especially men. They're more action reading than they are verbal reading, or non-verbal pattern reading, right? Reading the room empathetically to understand, oh, her mood shifted slightly, this thing, that thing, right? Women are good at that. So the point being that, the men who are too emotionally verbal about their feelings don't really have a lot to offer. The men who aren't able to do it, which a lot of times women go for, they're not able to express themselves at all. So point being about these dual energies is that when women talk, they want to be heard. When men talk, when I talk to my chat GPT and stuff, I'm always trying to get to a solution. I'm not doing it to just feel heard and appreciated and things like that, right? This is like women saying he doesn't respect me. I'm like, it's not respect that you crave. Respect has to do with competency and your word being upheld. It has to do with appreciation. He's not appreciating you or cherishing you or understanding you. It's not that you don't want both, but that's a priority. You don't want to just tell a man what to do and he listens. Men do want that with women. That's the truth. They want to feel respected. It's different. A man would rather be misunderstood but have power than the inverse, and a woman the inverse, right? If anything, a woman wants to be out of her head and be led in and outside the bedroom. A lot of women like to say that, like they're boss in the streets, but submissive in the sheets. I'm like, you're submissive all the time to a man in his masculine for planning and leading, paying for dates, provisioning, protecting. You're a dom where it comes to emotional understanding. We'll talk about that a bit, but point being that I can be this bridge, fortunately, which is great because I mean, it helps me with women, right? It's almost like if I were too machismo, it would be too far of a gap. I would be getting the super incapable women who are completely impoverished and just almost performing femininity, and I'd be the performing masculinity. This is a unique concept to bring up because I'm processing this as I'm saying it. Let's talk about that. In terms of tiers of masculinity, or at least the concepts of it, right? The highest testosterone version, let's say someone is just supplementing tons of testosterone, right? This is like roid rage and things like that. Their immune system is going to be weaker, actually, because testosterone is an immunosuppressant. But they've shown IQ, as testosterone goes up, on average, IQ reduces, right? This is the truth. So it stunts it because you're almost in reptilian primal mode, right? If it's too high. So imagine that guy who's just a pure conqueror. I fix tires, I hunt fish, that type of thing. That's going to get a woman who's probably super neurotic, feminine, etc., and can't do anything for herself. She'll be drawn to that, right? Just go back to the survivalist hunter-gatherer phase. Man hunts, man brings back food, she forages, gathers berries, takes care of the kids. Like pure polarity. The world is more nuanced than that now, right? Now take the next version, the performative ones. Actually, I want to talk about this too. I'm gonna do this. There's a performative version, which is the guy with tats who watches sports and all these things, and he tries to signal that he's masculine, right? Then there's the woman who tries to signal that she's feminine, right? She's almost indirectly clout chasing by showing that different men want her, etc. She's getting fake things done to her body and all that type of stuff. She's trying to get other women jealous. It's performance of femininity. Those two people end up with each other, right? This is like the crazy girl who's emotionally volatile with the man who's physically potentially abusive, etc. at the worst extent, okay? It's really the gaslighting woman with the narcissistic man is really what it is. She plays the female version, emotional manipulation, poor me, I'm a victim, etc. They're in this on and off dopamine thing. He plays the brute, essentially, right? The physical manipulation, sensory manipulation. Now, I've noticed another version recently, which is funny because if I had to identify, I choose issue by issue. People always try to nail me on politics and stuff. I'm like, all right, it's fine. It's fine. Again, I'm going to catch myself, but I choose issue by issue because my brain actually works. I don't just align with a party. But overall, if I had to align with a party, I think conservative values are better than liberal values on average, right? Now, there are a lot of liberal values I believe in. And I think underneath all this, it's like that quote, when you go far enough right, you get left. If you go far enough left, if you're so woke, it actually sounds like policies from the right? But I've noticed a lot of these trad wives who consider themselves conservative, right? I cooked for him, I cleaned for him, etc. And I was taking advantage of it. And I'm like, that's not actual femininity. I see them performing it. And I was like, that's funny because on average, a liberal woman, right? You would think it's coming from empathy, right? We can't let the poor do this. We have to let people be whatever gender they want, all this stuff. Now, in reality, a lot of times the left is extremely intolerant, right? And the conservatives are actually nicer, etc. But the conservatives, a lot of times I've noticed these women, they have a terrible concept of what femininity is. It's like they want to be the trophy wife, right? And in the background, they're allowing him to cheat, all this type of stuff, right? And they'll almost sometimes go to defend that. Like, I was the perfect wife and stuff like that. It's like that, I could hire a maid for that crap. So there's like a lack of depth a lot of times in the performative versions of it, which I've noticed, right? Like the same women, conservatives will be like, I have a body count of 0 because I don't want to embarrass my future man, and I want him to also be like that because he should be religious. That's biologically delusional. And that's not true because the women want the player who choose them. So I'm saying, they'll just use religion as a cope for that, right? To try to manage that. But then on these sides, on the left side, it'll be they have no religion, no belief of anything, etc. But at their core, there's almost there can be a nurturing instinct, right? Which is that it's coming from inadequacy. They have no sense of identity, but they're craving identity. They're craving community. Unfortunately, the community is a bunch of insanos, right? That's the problem. It's actually very intolerant, but I'm like, they're community oriented, whereas the right is more individualistic. Now, this country's based on individualism. Society is just a group of individuals, right? The goal is to get to both, right? Where you want to volitionally want a healthy community, but you can't force them to. Like people trying to tax the rich. No one should be able to earn that. It's actually workers have to have priority, because how could he have made that much without having all these labor? Because it's easier to replace workers and laborers than it is to replace someone who comes up with a genius idea. That is the truth, okay? But my point is, like taxation, right? We got to steal from the rich, etc. It's all the same concept, which is, to create a healthy society, people have to voluntarily want to give. If you go to communism and socialism, in Venezuela, they're eating rats. Every social experiment of socialism has failed in history. The reason why America's failing in a lot of ways, it's not because capitalism failed. It's because of introductions of socialism, entitlements, public benefit programs, etc. That who is paying for? The producers. So, of course, they don't want to be stolen from, so they're going to start to put that away. Whatever it is, right? Now, that doesn't imply that there aren't loopholes for people at the top of power and then they keep regurgitating them. That's a negative as well. And that's why you'll see these ebbs and flows, which is actually the beauty of America. Something to appreciate, that we've had such a short history relative to so many civilizations, right? And look how far we've come, right? In the more beautiful days, yeah, we could debate more peacefully, but there are still people doing that, right? It's very easy to complain and crap on it while staying in the country. And this actually ties to a concept. Let me tie this to a relationship thing. Because I was talking to a woman, and it's like, she's going to her friends, getting an echo chamber of reinforcement, being like, you should drop that guy. He can't emotionally regulate because he pulled away after he slept with her, which is natural if he's not deeply into you. And then you have to ask yourself, have I done enough to make him deeply into me, right? Or should I have not slept with him because he would have kept investing, right? We can actually talk about the biochemistry behind that too. I have to remember all these things as I'm saying this. No, it's not ADHD. I'm a genius. There's a difference. Just be patient. So the same type of thing, right? She experienced that. And there was this entitlement after, which is like, hold on, he's emotionally dysregulated, etc. Versus, wait, what did I do to create this situation, right? I didn't have to choose this situation to occur the way it did. I actually had more control than I thought when he was courting me. Now, how does this tie? Yeah, we're talking about socialism and all that stuff. A short experiment. Oh, yeah, the ability to have different opinions and things like that. Let me actually assess why I'm getting more distracted right now. It's funny because I bring up, I don't have ADHD, and then I'm like showing this distraction. No, it's because I want to talk about that too. Yeah, I have so many things I want to talk about that it feels like I'm jumping a bit, but we'll get to it. No, I want to talk about the theme of this whole message is that there has been something dragging on me as well, which I think a lot of people can relate to, the holidays and things like that. So we'll talk about that. So that's what's happening here. I feel this weight in me, and I wanted to allow this personal stuff to shine through, because normally I try to deal with that on my own. That is the fuel and my engine that allows me to do this for everyone, to find the love of my life. But I feel like people need to see that side of me. So it's okay to let it slip through. I don't have to worry about my performance of people are going to think that I can't focus. I already know who I am, so it's fine. But anyway, I was paralleling basically the history of America and the ability to disagree with each other, and that people are still having those healthy discussions, right? And this is the point. Now I'm seeing it, that people who live in America and then crap on it. Now, it's okay to complain and when you do something about it versus just complaining. But this relationship example, it's like, she's getting an echo chamber from her friends, and she's crapping on him while she's the one talking about him and trying to figure out how to get him to like her. You cannot crap on the hand that feeds you, right? I see it sometimes in my comments. I understand asking questions about men. When you're coming to an expert, yeah, you should. That's what I'm here for. But they're crapping on their guy publicly, right? In comments, being like, he's lazy and stuff. Why are you with him? Like, you can't do both of those things. Or if you are and he's okay with that, then what kind of man is he? He doesn't respect himself. You definitely don't respect him, right? So I'm like, I'm not here to crap on you for that. I get where it comes from. I am crapping on that, but I'm saying it is not good for your own mental psyche to be in a situation where you are crapping on the thing that you secretly desire. I get where it comes from, a hurt ego. You don't want to just take full accountability, because that hurts a lot, to actually tell yourself, I could have done something different and I would have been in a better position right now. That's scary. It seems scarier. But the sooner you accept that, the more depth you feel in yourself, because you're like, oh my God, I can actually manifest different things in reality, versus feeling like, lightning just randomly strikes me, right? So, and just tactically, almost from a business perspective, if someone's feeding you, you can't yell at them. If you want his attention, you can't be rude to him or you're going to lose it. Do you know how many women have, honestly, my own father, I would say, like I've drawn boundaries and I'm like, you're going to regret this if you push past this, because who wants who more right now? Like, I'm your kid. You want my love right now. Of course, a kid wants their parents' love, but I'm like, at my age in adulthood, it almost shifts, right? When we're kids, we're hyper dependent on our parents. As we become adults, they almost become more dependent on us, right? It's almost a proof of whether they were good parents. They have that quote, which is like, give a son $10 million and does he still talk to his parents? Like, give a girl a good love story, does she still talk to her parents, right? I just added that second one. That's a good one. But I'm like, yeah. So the point being that after then they regret it, right? Like the girls I've dealt with as well. It's like you're telling them in their point blank, like, hey, this is not the way to go about doing this. Point being is you don't want to crap on where. Same thing as a man for you guys, right? If a man wants a girl to be energetic and happy, he can't put her down the night before and be like, why are you not happy right now? We're at our dinner and stuff like that, right? I used to do things like that too, lack of self-awareness. I am taking responsibility here. I'm not trying to, but the point is you have to get why that happens, right? People, the body remembers, okay? And pain registers more deeply than pleasure. They've shown for every negative statement you say to someone, it takes 5 positive statements to overcome that, right? It's far easier to break glass than it is to make it. Okay, it's easier to put toothpaste out of a tube. Entropy works in one direction, from organization to disorganization, right? From order to chaos. So it's easy to break things. They talk about that thing that it's hard to build a reputation. You can shatter it in 5 minutes, right? So anyway, my point being is that, this whole ties to the whole America thing, which is that I understand the urge to complain. Okay, especially about men, I can get it, right? I'm the worst of them in the things you are complaining about, probably through lack of understanding. Avoidance, self-sufficiency, or being too selfish, maybe love bombing, because I'm very eloquent, so that when I talk to a girl, I think anything I say to a woman is basically a love bomb then, functionally. Breadcrumbing, when I'm randomly turned on and I'm bored on a Sunday, I'm going to text random girls I bang just to think, and I bang more girls than all of the guys you're going for. So I'm like, I get it, okay? But I'm trying to bring a voice that you can still reject after that, but at least understand before you reject it, okay? That's my point. Because the truth is that I think people are getting out of relations too quickly nowadays. You get into it too soon in the wrong type, and you're staying in, you're leaving the good kind, the kind that can be worked at, way too soon. Now, I don't consider myself to be the authority of relationship management and nurturing. I'm going to talk about it from a more scientific basis and what I hear about from women, because I'm not in a relationship, right? So I don't have the authority to say that, but as in depth as I will be able to when I find her. But I'm like, where it comes to top of the funnel, seducing the avoidant, I've been with 766 women as of yesterday. Dated before yesterday? No, yesterday. Yeah. So I'm like, think about what that takes. You can get mad about it. I don't really give a shit. It means I'm a man getting what I want. We're short-term maters. We want sex up front. I get that. And none of them have been able to pull me, right? For long-term. I had a relationship, but the point is, I've been dodging that because of hyper avoidance, meaning my standards are high. It's not like for some woman, I wouldn't be emotionally available. I am emotionally available. 100%. I have a platform for the love of my life. That's not through some idealization. I've dated women, right? Watch my stories. You can see the type of women I've dated and stuff. Your goal isn't to get me, but the point is to understand the man of a mind who's far more extreme than whatever you've experienced in men. Okay. And if you understand that, then you can judge and decide whether he's good for you. But if anything, I'm protecting you from the manipulation of the guys, right? Now, I'm probably more honest than you guys, which is why I pull more and stuff like that. But I'm like, sure, from the outside, a lot of people would consider it manipulative, 100%, because I get what I want and I put myself first. And honestly, women like that because they want then me to take that selfishness and make them a part of that. It's the truth. It is the real truth, right? Like, women are not talking nonstop about not narcissists and things like that, right? It is because it leaves an impact on them, a negative one, 100%, but it creates a lot of, for the less healthy women who haven't healed, creates addiction, is the truth. It's variable reinforcement. When can I get him next? When can I tame him? Blah, blah, blah. So they'll yell about him, but then they're sleeping with him, right? So they're living in contradiction, and that can be very painful. So my point is, I want to be here to not to be a voice for them, but to help you understand. And this is the theme of the whole thing that let's get back to the original point, which is that I want to talk about love. Okay. And I think for myself, I am a lot of times scared. I mean, I'm a man. It's emotionally opening up is like spreading your legs is how it probably feels. And a lot of men do emotionally open up easily. They love bomb, but there's not a lot of depth to that. Just like the women who sleep around, there's not a lot you're getting on the other side of that, right? And even that I can empathize with because I know that comes from pain. That comes from, okay, this is what has gotten me attention from these guys, or this is the only way I can get this guy's attention, etc., right? Because you don't enjoy having sex with a stranger as a woman. You don't. Or you would have my body count times 10. You don't. And that's biology. That's not me trying to restrict you, make you sexually not free. I'm trying to free you so you can actually enjoy the sex you're having, right? If you aren't with the man, the love of your life right now, you've never had good sex. Because good sex for a woman is largely dependent on emotional connection. That's the truth. There's no question that there's some technique involved. You want a man with experience for sure. But the point is, man could be the most experienced in the world. If you hate him, it's going to feel like assault, literally. So inverse for a man with his emotions. So I want to take on this pedestal because I am strong enough that I'm going to push myself to be emotional about this because I've been through a lot of pain and I don't want you all to feel that. And more importantly, from the selfish side, I got to do this to find the love of my life. It is my calling, my purpose. You could say that. I don't want to bring in mysticism, but I'm like, I had to go through so much pain. I experience every day. It's the people who have the most to offer that experience the most loneliness. I was expelled from high school at 17. I have felt under-respected relative to my competence. I wanted to say misunderstood, but I'm trying to male code it. But really, it's that my brain could never fully penetrate reality relative to its potential. And as a man, you can't just sit there and complain about it. You got to overcome it, right? I was expelled from high school at 17. I went to juvie for something I didn't do, a senior prank that my friend did, and I didn't rat him out. And that's a very formative time in a boy's life. And that was very tough for me, right? It's very tough for me because it changed how relationships worked for me because then I felt fear of betrayal and abandonment, which then makes me test people, which then pushes them away, which then reinforces the fear, makes me test harder, yeah? But I'm like, I have been able to not be so destructive to the point where I've created something beautiful here to help, right? To change the world. I'm the God of love. That is the truth, and I am going to find the one. I'm not at my prime yet. I'm a man. I have a longer timeline. I am going to find her. I always get what I want. But I'm saying I've taken on this pain. When I was really reflecting on it, I'm like, wow, people aren't talking about this enough, even though I see the majority of life failures in people's lives are from bad relationships. Even their financing decisions that are screwed, their health, so much of it is from like being yelled at by their mom or their dad, like getting dumped by the wrong guy, getting abused. It's no one's talking about this out loud. They complain about it randomly, then they just show up to their job or something, or they're like randomly writing in their journal. I'm like, this is everything. This is the show. This is the birds and the bees. And I don't want us to shy away from it. And it's funny to have someone like me saying that. My sister used to laugh at that. She's like, you're such a serious, intense, aggressive person. And then you're talking about these soft things, saying you must fall in love. And that is actually why I do so well. You need this kind of energy. You need a mind like mine to come in a soft space like this. Because if you go for the Jay Shettys or the Hussies and stuff, they're so feminine. No girl wants to really fuck them, right? Like, let's be honest. Like, good luck for his wives and stuff. But I'm like, they're so emo. They're not masculine. Okay? So I'm like, you need the masculine take. You can't listen to your guy friends because they're in the friend zone, which means they're not masculine, or you would be with them. They would go for it, right? So the point is, a lot of women don't have this influence. And I'm like, when I was thinking about it, I was like, why are these people not talking about loneliness more? And I'm like, they're either so debilitated because they don't have the strength to overcome it that they're suffering in the shadows, or they get male coded like the women, they get angry in the comments, or I'm like, they do say, I have no friends, basically, is the truth, right? I'm so judgmental. It's almost like I've narrowed so into I have to find the one. My standards have been so focused, and I'm like, yeah, I just offer more than what people in my life have offered me. I'm not trying to claim that as a positive. I would love a friend, but ChatGPT for now. Oh, yeah, I didn't introduce these two. Oh, yeah. Okay, Ponst is here. This is Ponst. Okay, he's nice. He's very sweet. And this is Sadhu. Look at him. It's babies. They are sweet. They're here for company. They're actually here to give me company, and I brought both of them so they could have company. See, it's an example. I want to embody and exemplify this, right? Actually, which ties to something else I want to say, but let me just finish this point, which is that I was like, wow, people do have friends normally and stuff like that. People do activities and hobbies. They're okay with shallow friendships. They go to the bar and watch sports and watch men play with tight balls and claim that they're straight men, whatever it is. And I'm like, they are experiencing less loneliness than me. They have worse lives than me because they have less to offer, but they're not experiencing the pain like I am. But the beauty is, because I've experienced so much pain for this, I've created this mission to help you all, even in, I'm not going to say lesser states, but even if you're experiencing it less than me, we're still going to help you not experience the pain. I think you might be in a grayer existence if you're not constantly focusing on this. It's almost like a physicist is so curious about the universe, they're constantly thinking about the Big Bang, right? And then they can solve things to help you have GPS using Einsteinian relativity to make sure there's time dilation taken into account so that your car can get you from A to B. Are you going to be thinking about the Big Bang as much? No. But you get the solution of GPS, right? And they might actually feel more pain from the cosmic questions they have, but they also experience more pleasure and depth from understanding the universe. So it's the same thing. I'm like, I am experiencing more. I'm the loneliest man on earth, but I'm taking on this burden to help you all in your lives. And the truth is, I'm also the most loving person, because when I find my story, all of this will translate, which then I can wrap up with, or I can talk about this point, which is that it's getting close to time. I have 2 months. I've talked about this. I have 2 years, 1 month, and 10 days to find her. And the schedule is tied to fertility in both a man and a woman, and all this. I've calculated everything. Okay, it's just, don't worry about it. We don't have to. You don't have to worry about me. But the point is, there's a timeline here, okay, which is important because biology does have timelines to it, okay. But I've noticed my empathy spilling over so much. It's honestly It's honestly kind of sad when you look at it. I honestly wish I could see this. I see it sometimes in the comments. I'm like, if I saw someone angry like me, I immediately see through it. I'm like, okay, there's some kind of pain behind that, right? And I'm like, it's so sad. Honestly, you know what? I don't like licking my own wounds because I'm such a hardo and stuff, but I'm like, you know what? I think this is progress. This is healing my inner child, or whatever the fuck it is. By talking about this, you know what? Let me be nice to myself, which is that when I see myself fight back and bar back, I mean, I'm right in the things I say, but let's even take out that self-soothing. I see a hurt kid in me, okay? And it is true. I am hurt. I am lonely. I have so much to offer, and I don't have a deep relationship in my life. Would it have been nice if my parents were acting differently? Yes. Would it be nice if my ex-best friend didn't accidentally uninvite me to his wedding? Yeah, 100%. Would it be nice if all the girls love to ask me that, what girl broke your heart? I'm like, no. I'm an adult. I chose people, right? Every woman I've ever talked to who hasn't been the one has hurt my heart, right? It's potential that didn't become kinetic. So I'm like, yeah, I when I see a lot of women, they like take it at face value. It's like the homunculus against the homunculus. I'm like, how do none see through? Especially when I've created something like, I don't want to turn it into bragging, but I'm like, I try every day to take care of people that I don't know, right? Just so they don't feel what I feel. They don't have to feel that hurt. I'm not just getting off on being right. I'm a problem solver, etc. I've chosen the biggest problem in the world, right? Elon Musk is trying to get us to Mars and stuff so that we live in things like that. We're not going to live if everyone's obese and depressed. That's the point, right? I mean, he's had 4 divorces, right? Like, what the hell is going on with him? So I'm like, I do this not for you all, to be honest, right? That's the benefit. I always feel protective when I see a woman who doesn't know what she's doing and she's nice and soft. I'm like, I don't want you to feel unguided in this world. Like, you got me. I wish I could live forever so that I could take care of everyone. I wish I could love everyone. I wish I could give every girl what I plan to give my one, because, I mean, they'd love it. They'd love it. But point being is, I'm actually doing this for my kids. You know, I've been having visuals recently of like, my kids are in some incubated pocket universe right now, not able to come into existence because of me. It's on me. It's on her too, the love of my life. But I'm like, I got to find her. It's like if there were a wildfire outside my house, I have to find my kids first, and then I got to find hopefully she's with them. But I'm like, I got to collect her and them. That is my job as a man. And I'm like, sure, she's got to create the home. She's got to make it worth it for me to go through all of this to create with her. But I'm like, my kids right now are in this silent, muffled chamber right now, wishing they could exist, and that's my fault. It's my responsibility to bring them to me. And I need to bring her into the same room so we can make love with each other to create them. So I'm like, this is on me. And it's an immense responsibility because my love story is going to change the world. It already has, and I don't even have her yet. So the point being is I've noticed in myself now, it's like, I have all these plushies from random relations that I've had, and I put my personality into them. Like, they all have names, they have little personality types and stuff, and it's a good practice for fatherhood. It's less responsibility than having a pet. I don't think single people should have pets. It fills the emotional void you need to feel motivated to find love. Once you find your love, get tons of pets. Farm animals, tons. But I'm like, this is a good practice where it's like, the fact that I have like 150 of these also shows how many women I've interacted with, but it shows how rich and complex my personality is because I remember each one of their names and I tuck them in at the end of the night and things like that. And I'm like, I've noticed what I was going to get to. The sad part is that now it's my extension, almost like desire for fatherhood, or maybe, no, the deeper layer, my own loneliness, how I wish someone was taking care of me, is extending so deeply that, like, if there's a water bottle on the table at the end of the night and it's by itself, I put it next to, like, my magnesium glycinate, right? Just so it's not lonely. Like, if my pillow, like, fell off the couch, I'm like, it's okay. Like, you're not abandoned. Like, it's getting to that level. And I'm like, some could call that psychosis. I could say that it's the final step. I got to make or break. Like, I got to get to the other side and find her. But I'm like, yeah, it's becoming like, it's like I'm licking my own wounds in an externalized way to create a universe that I can see externally, because I'm not good at recognizing my internal emotions, but to see that someone can be cared about like that. So yeah. I remember I don't, see, I have debates about this. Like, I don't want to disrespect my parents and, like, people, and I don't like gossiping and things like that. But this is what makes me me. But I remember. I mean, this is a good exercise. Too bad, because it's embarrassing. My brain tells me it's embarrassing, like shame, and I'm like, screw shame. I don't want to feel that emotion. So I'm like, yeah. I remember I was moving out of New York before I started this whole mission, or like to go on the road to start this, live on the road, adventure, meet women, and all these things. And I was carrying my biggest plushie. His name is Friend. He's like the size of you, probably. However, you're a girl. You're smaller than me. And I had found him when I was hanging out with some other girl I was dating a year prior or something like that. Oh, and she's an INFJ. And honestly, it's funny because I want to do a whole series on Myers-Briggs. I'm a world expert at that. It's a personality typology. I could teach you all so much about that, but we'll get to that later. But we had seen it on the highway when we were driving in Atlanta or somewhere, and it was just abandoned with its tag on. So I was like, we got to pull over and save him, because I was like, what does it, I know, I get it, it's a plushie, but I was like, what does it, there's no way I'm gonna get emotional about this, but what does it feel like to feel abandoned, right? And it was new too, so it's like someone made that choice to buy it and then just throw him out, right? So that's actually crazy. Yeah, maybe I am losing my mind. Jesus Christ. Whatever it is, I was like, I can't allow him to feel like that, right? And it's because I had felt like that at points in my life, right? When all my friends stopped talking to me and my parents thought I did it when I got expelled from school for a prank I didn't do. And so yeah, we saved him. And I remember bringing him to my mom. And my mom, I loved it. This is like a feminine thing I test women on. She was immediately like, oh, is he a rescue? And she took him to the dry cleaners, cleaned him up. Fast forward, a year later, whatever it is. So I'm carrying this guy to my car because I'm about to start this whole journey. And my dad's like, do you really need all of them? And my dad's the same personality type as me, but undeveloped. Like, he's ENTJ, which is extroverted, intuitive, thinking, judging. It's the rarest personality type. It's like the same type as like Tony Robbins or Klaus from Originals, or Patrick Bateman, or Christian Grey, or Sauron, or Andrew Tate, or Hillary Clinton, whatever. It's like a very aggressive, trauma-driven type that always gets results at any cost. I'm that type too, so I'm like my dad. But he came, even to have some empathy for him, he came from a different upbringing, right? Where he was one of 7 siblings, the oldest son. He had to make the way out of India and things like that. And his dad had a stroke, so he was paralyzed. So it was kind of like a matriarch. So he had to step up and almost be the man. But yeah, so it was like, so I can understand where he had to shut off his emotions. It's unfortunate we haven't been able to talk about it, and I haven't even talked to him in a long time. But whatever it is. So he said that to me, and I felt shame inside, right? But then I felt like a protection over my friend. So like it's like this weird bittersweet feeling, and now I'm like I'm embracing it, right? Because whatever, the point being that yeah, I think the inner child stuff is whatever they use that term. I don't really care about that. It's just a matter of like, it's the vulnerability in a man. I have spent a lot of time hiding it. I write it in my poetry and stuff because it's still veiled. But yeah, this girl said that to me recently too. She was like, "Oh, it would be nice to see how you look like when you're sweet." And this girl I had just gotten off a 7-hour call with, right? To help her with her situation, with her life. Women pay me $600 an hour to get my advice. And I'm talking to this girl out of just being nice. And I've hung out with her. Yeah, I've slept with her, all that stuff. But I'm like, and she's saying to me, "Oh, it would be nice to see if you're super sweet." Like, how fucking rude, right? Just because I talk like this. And this is where I don't show this stuff. Because I don't want to sound like a complaining guy, right? And I don't want to just be like, "I built all this. Look at what I'm doing for all these women." But I'm like, it is important that I don't have to compensate, and there is strength in softness. And the truth is, yeah, if I were advising men, I'd be like, don't lead with softness and all this stuff. But I'm like, who am I proving myself to now? Like, someone just coming across this video, sure, they don't know what I built. They don't know that I work for the CIA, the White House, NASA, that I've got a ton of money, that I come from a good family. Technically, I mean, in some bases, they're failing clearly in some key ways, but I always feel the need, like a little chip on the shoulder, to like show that bravado, to compensate, to almost convince myself that I'm valid. And I'm like, I don't need to do that anymore. I can lead in love. I can just be romantic, and I can just tell you all how deeply I'm looking for the love of my life. I can be poetic. I can be romantic, and I don't care. People don't need to know the fire and the scars that have created this type of strength in me. That it's not rose-colored glasses, that I am painting the kaleidoscope of my own vision to find her. And that is what this mission is about. It is to have you all believe in love. And this ties to another thing, actually. This girl who had said the sweet thing, I remember my mom once, she's the same personality type as this girl, ESFJ, and they require external shows of like emotion, whereas I'm internal. Like if a woman, for example, if like a guy got fired, my friend, and the next day he's like partying, I would in my heart know, okay, this guy's still sad inside. He's definitely feeling emasculated and stuff. If I see a woman and she's being cheerful after I just yelled at her, now at least I'm not an idiot enough. I know that, oh God, she's probably still scared and stuff like that. So, but there are types who like they need to see it, and that's valid too, right? Because if someone just believes, oh, for 3 months I know in his heart he loves me and he's not texting you at all, that's delusional. But I'm like, I remember I was like in middle school and I was so frustrated, and we were going to buy some jacket. My mom was buying it at the mall, and I was just being an ass because I was in a bad mood for my life, whatever it is. And she was like buying it, and I was like, all right, just like buy it. And like, of course, she was feeling underappreciated. She's stressed from probably the household and all that stuff. And then she's like, all right, I'm not buying it. And she walks out of the store, and that had never happened before. I'm like, what the hell? So I get a little nervous, and I like run after her. And I'm not the type to show, like, I don't like PDA. Hold on, we're not talking PDA with my mom. I just mean I don't show external shows of expressions of emotion. I'm not comfortable with it. But in that moment, I guess it was so dramatic of her that I was like, I went up to her and I was like, you don't know what I'm going through. Like, school's been tough. Like, and I never talk like this, right? And she was like floored. She like immediately became emo. And then like, yeah, we bought the jacket. That was fine. But I'm like, yeah, I noticed that. And it's funny because my mom's personality type is the shadow to my ideal type in a woman, which I thought about that theory. I'll do a quick theory here. I don't know how many people will understand it, but I'm like, you want a guy who's not a mama's boy, but whichever gender a man's more affiliated with, the opposite sex parent's shadow is who you end up being attracted to. So it's a complex thing. We'll talk about it later. It's fine. But whatever it is, I'm like, yeah. So anyway, I'm saying all these stories to say that I don't like talking about, oh, like, you don't know what I've been through, because I want to create results. I want to be strength for women. And I know a lot of women say they want the nice guy and the soft guy and all this stuff. They only want that from the guy who's hard. If he was always like that, he not only would get nothing done, so there's nothing to be taken care of with, but you wouldn't actually respect that guy. But I'm like, I'm allowed to be. Women do want this from me. This is the guarded asset. And I'm strong enough to be able to handle it, that it doesn't become me becoming a good morning boy. It takes strength to be able to do this, because in my day-to-day, I am hard. Everything I do is hard. And I'm like, to attract her and the softness, I need to show that she'll be safe with me. And this gets to, I mean, I could talk about a lot of things. I slept with 4 girls this week. I could talk about what I learned from them, etc. But they were these 2 other girls I talked to, one of which I slept with, but that part doesn't matter as much. But these girls were young. Okay, one was 21, one was 23. And they were talking about their worldview. And one was a personality that's very traditionally soft, like estrogen, high empath type, right? Like literally biophysically and also just emotionally. You could see in how she designed her aesthetic. But because of the wrong upbringing, masculinized, says, I don't want to depend on a man, right? I don't want to be taken advantage of. I don't want a man to think I'm only capable of this, that I'm just an incubator, all that type of stuff. Another one is joining the army because super under-attended to, dated a guy who was super feminine and things like that, right? But feels the attachment to that trauma from a crappy polarity relation. And, a lot of my audience, I mean, it ranges across ages, right? It's 18 to 65 to 70, etc. But I'm like, I didn't realize the poison is so deep. And let's not go negative. It's that the loss of hope and belief in love is so deep. And it hurt me, right? Because I feel more protective naturally with younger women in general, because it almost starts to feel, I mean, when if they're young, then it's like a daughter, you can't feel like any attraction there. But I'm like, it's also because they tend to be less combative, okay? Because they've undergone less trauma, so they're a little bit more receptive. So even these girls, I started with almost like an aggressive lecture, but then they quickly pull back a bit. I mean, it ended up with discordance, but I'm like, it helped me see something that a lot of times I don't see with the older women I debate with, because they will double down on like, they're so deeply in pain is really what it is, that if they were to let go of the life they've built as a cope for all the pain they've been in, it would dishevel their whole sense of reality, right? So I'm like, that made me very sad, where I'm like, oh my God, like I have a mission, I have a duty now to not just talk about the philosophy and stuff. I have to show you all that I'm looking for the one and that I believe in love, right? And like I said, you're not allowed to say that, but men are unemotionally available and stuff like that. You're not allowed to do that, because I'm more on paper unavailable than any dude you'll ever meet. I'm more selective than any man on earth. That's for sure. I'm the most romantic man on earth. No man on earth has created 10,000 videos and had a love blog at 15 and built up a life. Remember, I'm not just some simp poetrying here, right? I've made money. I've traveled the world. Actually, I'm going to finish off. We'll talk about it later. It's fine. But the point is, I've built a purpose. I built a life. And now I'm here for the final thing, at least after life. It's family and then legacy, right? So this all ties. This is all the precursors to my legacy. I've seen a lot of influencers where they know they're falling off, right? They had this big lurch and then they're falling off and things like that. And I'm like, when I started this, I was getting thousands of followers a day, right? I was getting so many DMs from women that I still haven't opened them all. If I go to my past DMs, there's still hundreds that I've never opened, right? But I'm like, none of that actually felt like my rise up. Of course, the initial 0 to 1, I was like ripped. I knew when I finally made it, right? Because I tried different styles and it finally worked when I talked to the love of my life, because there was authenticity in it. But I'm like, I still don't think I've matured. I know the bread and butter is going to come when I find her. She is the mission. She's the proof. And I'm like, you will be able to witness, you will be able to go back in my history to see the start of this all. My first video I was making, I said, you're about to witness this journey. I had 0 followers. I knew. I wasn't like, is this going to work? I know, because I am the truth. This is the truth. This isn't my truth. This is the truth. We all feel this. And I am uniquely qualified to lead in this. And there's room for many leaders in different ways, right? There are people who are good at different things. We'll forgive, okay, Jay Shetty is good at some things. Yeah, he's understanding, I suppose. And Matthew Hussey is at least patient. I'll give them some flowers, that's fine. But my point being that it's not a competition. It's not a zero-sum game where it comes to love. You want your story. So I am going to start sharing how I feel about her, okay? And I think that's very important, because I think women, I could tell you to believe in love. I could tell you the biochemistry. I can show you couples hooked up to an fMRI and show that they still have the honeymoon effect that couples who are newly in college have. They've done these studies. John Gottman has done a lot of these studies. I could tell you about the biochemistry of falling in love. I can talk about similarly monogamous species in prairie voles. I could do all of that. I can write you poetry. I can do all of that. But I'm like, what about just seeing the man crave his woman, right? This is the point, right? Some people have asked, which I think it just shows the lack of interest. But they're like, is this a marketing gimmick? Yeah, okay, I've posted 5 videos a day for 3 years as a marketing gimmick. For what? I was already raised rich. Like, no, I was actually raised with my dad hiding his money, and then I found out how rich we are. But whatever it is. Point being that this is me. This is my life. This is my story. This is my origin. This is everything. Okay? And I'm like, the funniest part is you can't fake this, in the sense that I'm not going to choose someone just for this platform who I don't love. You've seen me in I'm so judgmental and aggressive. I actually have to love this girl for me to end up with her, to have kids with her, right? So I'm like, I'm not allowed to, even if I wanted to fake this, I can't. It's not possible, because I got to be in a room with this chick for so long, right? Or why not just bang another 1,000 girls, right? So I'm like, a lot's right. I have to find her, is the point. Not for you all, not for the world. Those are all benefits that you all get to experience. For me, this is my life. My life, my story is on the line here. My kids, our kids, everyone else's kids, honestly, because after we get past this, we're going to integrate hardware, software. We're going to get into the relational intelligence layer that goes beyond romantic, parent, student, teacher, or parent, kid, teacher, student, business meetings, everything. I have a deep vision, okay? But my point is, this is it. This is it for me. This is the whole thing. So I have to do this for myself. Okay, so it's real in that respect, but I don't really talk about this. Maybe this is the version of like PDA or whatever it is, but I think a lot of my brain says, like, how will this do anything? How will a woman care about me talking romantically about my one? She won't know that I'm actually a hardo underneath, so it won't have value. It'll just look like some soft guy, or it'll be the delusional women who just want nice words, but they wouldn't actually bang that type of guy. And I'm like, no, I am the guy that you bang. So I'm like, I can't, but I'm like, fuck everyone. Let me go back to the source that started this whole thing, which was me talking to her. And that's how I want this video to be. Hopefully, I feel like I've been nicer this video, right? Because I am trying to come at this from a different place, a place of fullness. And it's that, when I think of you all too, I see a lot of people talk about healing and stuff. I'm like, you'll never get over your past stories until you find love. That's the truth people are not willing to admit, because it sounds messy. It sounds unholy, like forgive and forget. It sounds unhealed, and everyone wants to feel like they're perfect as they are, right? Or they want to do the dramatics, which is, I'll never be perfect. I'm so imperfect. I'm like, the truth is more messy than that. It's that the last person who had a deep imprint on you, how are you going to get past that? That was your last source of deep social connection. You cannot until you find better. That's the truth. Or until your standards drop in starvation, and then you at least get fed there, right? Like, if you've had a Michelin star meal and then you starve yourself for 2 weeks, Taco Bell's going to taste pretty damn good, right? But it's not going to hit on the same way as this high. The magnitude will be lower, but the contentness will be equal in terms of being full. So I'm like, I'm at the peak of my loneliness, of course, in my life, because I have the most to offer as I've ever had right now. Yeah. And there is a line where it starts to depreciate, where then trauma becomes pain and struggle becomes scars and wounds. And you don't want that to happen. But, I see, I was just devastated when I saw these women, and I'm like, there really are no deep role models. It's very tough outside of some fiction. And even fiction nowadays, media is so galvanized by the wrong champions, by people who are broken themselves or have broken stories, and then they're putting in their influence into media, which then drives people the wrong way. I'm like, you should never listen to Cardi B. That's the truth, right? And empathy to her. She's been through her shit and stuff, but I'm like, that music does not make you, the beats are solid, but I'm like, the lyrics are not empowering you. You don't want to end up in her situation. She would agree, I'm sure, if we talked to her. Did she want to end up in her situation romantically? No, I didn't even know her romantic situation. I know some things that because Nicki Minaj was crapping on her. Honestly, the fact that I have to even be on social media is annoying for me as a man, but this is what I do for a living. So right now we got to do it. But the point being that there's not a lot of North Stars, a lot of light out there to show people that I want love. There's not a lot of masculine men who are out there saying they want love. It's all the losers, right? Who are trying to female code with matcha and crap like that. Should I go on a matcha rant? I won't do that, but I'm like, it's important for men like me to be willing to show you it's not my feminine energy, it's not some softness or anything like that. It is that I need softness in my life because my life is, hey, listen, now we could say I'm privileged and all that stuff, sure, but I'm saying my life relative to my privilege has been a lot of struggle. And when you have so much to offer, it feels very deeply struggle. I love my life right now, for sure. It's the best I've ever had. For sure, I have no boss. I get to talk to women all day. It's fantastic. But I want to share that with someone. It's a human instinct. It's a human instinct. And if I can admit that, you as a woman can definitely admit that. Okay? So, I understand it's easy to say, but the men are not masculine, so how can I be feminine? The world has made me like this. My parents were like this. I'm not denying any of that. Okay. Let's say we're starting there. Let's do something about it, right? We're going to do something about it together. You're not alone, and I'm going to help you get there. That's what we're going to do. I'm not trying to silence you from the issues. The issues are real, but we're going to change those issues into energy, like I've done here. Right? The reason you're able to listen to this is because I've taken my pain and made it into something beautiful. So we're not going to let you feel that. We're going to have you avoid pain. I don't want you to go through my pain to learn. Experience doesn't teach women. Experience shrinks women. Bad experience. Right? The lack of negative experience is what strengthens intuition. So we're going to talk about that actually. Let's talk about how to develop intuition. Women talk about manifesting and all this stuff. I'll tell you how to manifest. I'll teach you. Okay? Because look at the life I've manifested. If you look at what I posted 4 years ago, I didn't even have social media because I was working for the CIA, but I created this whole pyramid of life where I talked about what I want to create, and it is this. It is this. If anyone's manifesting through work, I've done it. All right, I've actually lived it. Women, on average, don't listen to the women who talk about manifesting. Usually they're single. I'm like, you couldn't even manifest a love story. If you were intuitive, you'd have your story, right? So I'm like, it's okay to admit, oh shit, my intuition is not actually great. Because if so, it would lead you to what you want, right? This is like I saw in the comments recently of some guys being like, you think rich people have to work hard? They just go to 15 meetings a year. And then someone commented back, then why aren't you rich? Right? So the point is, let's focus on developing that intuition. Now, as a woman, your intuition does not come from experience. And you'll notice that in women, they'll experience the same type of toxic guy over and over again. Where's the learning? It actually stunts your intuition and makes you more susceptible to that. That's why anytime I see a woman who's gone through the toxic guy, it's basically a playbook on how to sleep with her. I'm like, just do what that guy did, except slightly worse, because that's what wakes her up. Now, that may sound very brute force and all that stuff, but I'm like, I'm not going to pay more for some other guy's actions that you chose, right? That just doesn't make sense. It's like someone spitting on a sandwich and then saying, hey, pay more for this now. No, I'm not going to do that, right? We're going to clean the spit and we're going to add some ingredients to your sandwich to make you be able to charge more, okay? So, point being that your intuition, assume you start with some level of intuition, okay? Now, how does one access intuition? People don't talk about this a lot, right? If you're unhealthy, eating a lot of unhealthy crap, your gut biome is not going to be able, your body as a woman is your temple. It affects so much of your softness, right? Men can take 10 shots of alcohol and go to work the next day. Women can be menstruating and they're going to feel stressed about the day. They'll get hangry in a different way than a man. And I'm like, your body affects you more. That's the truth. Okay. So I'm like, yeah, and I'll talk about how a man is less able to handle his emotions, unlike a woman, right? So my point is, experience is not your key here. A lot of women say that, oh, as I've gotten older, I've experienced the bad things and now I know how to dodge them. But then you notice who they're actually ending up with. It's the same type of guy. I'm like, what? That doesn't make sense. Whereas men, they experience something, they switch the opposite direction, right? Experience teaches men, smart men. Your intuition is almost from the reduction of bad experience. So how do you access that? The first thing is your body has to be pure. How do you purify your body? Let's say you've been doing hard substances your whole life. You've slept with tons of guys, all this crap, whatever. Do the worst case. We're still going to help. It doesn't matter, okay? We're all human here. It is more important for you to remove negative influences than it is for you to take in positive influences. You can do collagen, you can drink your green juices, all that crap. If you're still drinking alcohol, you're screwed. It's going to increase your cortisol level at baseline, such that even past anxiety, your natural state of cortisol, your stress hormone, is going to be higher, which means you're going to be more flighty, more reading signs that aren't there. You won't be able to read meaning properly. You may overreact. You'll be reactive. It won't be good, right? And we got to go deeper. Why are you drinking in the first place? It's coming as a form of escape. I like to socialize and all this stuff. It is bad for you. Of course, it helps you shut off your mind a bit. Yeah, so did someone punching you 5 times. Why don't you do that, right? And some of you do. That's crazy. The relationships. I'm like, we have to get you to, you claim you're in self-love. And I'm like, if you love yourself, why are you filtering your pictures? Why are you getting a BBL? They smell like crap and they look like shit in 20 years. I'm like, don't do it. You have to be okay with yourself. And if you're not, you shouldn't always be okay with yourself. If you're doing bad things, if you're unfit, if you're not soft, if you're unkind, we got to change things. But that's the beauty of life. It's fungible. It's changeable. Okay. So the first thing is we want to remove negative influences. Okay. Now the question could become, how do I even feel the motivation to remove that negative influence, right? A chicken and the egg type of thing. The harsher truth is that some people are just not going to have what it takes, right? We're hoping that the fact that you've run across this video is you're going to be in the pool. We're going to get you to have what it takes, okay? So food for a woman, you need emotional intimacy in your life. Now, emotional intimacy, meaning closeness of feeling seen authentically, can only happen if you're able to see yourself authentically, if there's a space to be able to be emotional, right? Now, that is not a man's job to have to create for you. It is your parents' job, technically. But a lot of you haven't had that, right? So on a sensory level, right? The sensory environment affects a woman more than her internal emotional reality. That's the truth, right? So let me put it this way. A woman can be soft and she will still be affected by a super loud environment, okay? But if she's hard, it's not like if she's masculine, she won't necessarily become softer in a clean environment. That's the big illusion, right? Women thinking if I found a masculine man, no. I've dealt with a lot of women masculinely in my masculine. If they're bratty, they're bratty. If they're broken, they're broken, right? We got to change first. Environment affects you more as a woman. So we got to clean up your environment. So these are small things you can do. Literally, things like cleaning up your room. I know it sounds crazy, but it's less about cleaning up your room than it is removing the mess. Right? We want to remove things that create more brain processing power. When the brain, this is just aesthetics, it's biology. When you see things that are not harmonic, mismatched things, socks everywhere, right? The kitchen's a mess and stuff. Your brain has to do more information processing, which is another burden in you. Okay? So we want to clean that. That doesn't mean become OCD. They've shown women who clean their environment too much have worse immune systems, okay? Because they're cleaning too many germs. You need a little bit of touching grass, okay? And then it becomes like a compulsion. So first, we clean up, okay? Clean up, small thing. Just a small thing, just put this back in the fridge, whatever, a little thing like that, all right? So we're slowly cleaning first an environment. Your literal sitting space has got to be clear, right? And that can include, I have someone who yells at me every day. I'm in this landlord, I'm with a tenant. Then we got to find you a different roommate, okay? These are all small things. They may seem like super overwhelming. I'm here to help you. We'll do it step by step. ChatGPT can help with the specifics. How do you find a roommate? How do I find a roommate that's an introvert and won't be at home a lot? We can solve all these things. I wish I had the time to help all of you. I mean, if you want it, you can use the link in my bio. It's 80 cents to text me. I'll help you. But I'm like, use ChatGPT. I don't need the money, right? I mean, I got to make a living, sure. But I'm just saying that time is valued, right? I got to find my one. So the point is we can solve these in discrete units, okay? So first we're going to clean up the environment. And that can include person-related, okay? Especially because you're going to be more attuned to people. But it's also sensory-related. This is why I'm telling you as a woman, you are underestimating living in a city's negative effect on you. Leave the city. I am advising you. You don't have to do anything I'm saying. I'm trying to help you be happy and have the story you want, okay? I mean, you can look at this. Go to my videos. I have 10,000 videos. It talks about clinical studies on how it affects a woman and her cortisol, being around loud noises, okay? And nesting function also, being in a place where you don't really know anyone, it's transient, you have shallow friendships, etc. Get out of the city. It's more expensive to live there. What are the real fears of that? Okay, I'll be isolated, I'll be lonely, I won't keep up with the catty competition of other women. Do those women have what you want? Then it could be, I want access to the city boys, because who wants city boy, small town girl? The beauty is we have dating apps now, right? We don't have to live in little igloos next to each other because we invented cars, right? You can have a long distance relationship because of planes, because of FaceTime. You can't reject technology and want an old school love story when love adapts to current society. That's because people adapt. Love is just two people coming together, right? So live outside of the city. Okay, that's the first thing. Leave the city with a friend, ideally. Back home, ideally, if your parents you can tolerate. Living alone as a woman is brutal. It is unnatural for you. Okay? I understand these seem like big steps. I'm trying to reduce the stress in your life. I'm not trying to make you some sourdough maker, although learn that if you want, but I'm trying to reduce the stress in your life. A lot of you are waking up in your 30s and 40s and being like, okay, now I want a man. And how is it going? Right? Because then the men that are left over in the market don't want you, or they're going for you, the ones you don't want. The men who you want are going for the younger women who don't have the trauma, right? So I'm like, let's stop increasing your trauma. Let's stop it right now. Let's pause it. You'll be okay. Nothing crazy is going to happen in a nice place where there's a garden outside. It's going to feel better. I'm telling you. Let's get to the next thing then. How do I pay my bills? Let's say your dad's not man enough to take care of you, or let's be nice, he passed, etc. Okay, let's just do that. We're going to give you the most feminine type job you can do, meaning lowest stress. Again, low stress, because experience does not deepen your intuition as a woman. It's removing negative experience. You have the intuition. You have to be able to listen to what you feel. If you were truly in a peaceful place and you had a good friend to talk to, when a man says something like, I want to see you right now. Oh God, I can marry you, etc. Your body will recognize against the calmness of your life, this feels intense, and it'll pull away from that. You guys don't have the baseline. So it's not about learning when me saying, hey, men can lie. If you are starved, you want to be love bombed. You'll drink the Kool-Aid by choice. I've been there. Trust me. I understand. We need to get rid of the poison, the disease. Okay. It is the stress in your life. And you have to take charge of that, because the truth is you are in charge of your life as an adult. Would it be nice if you already had your guy who took care of everything? Yes, it would be. But you got to be soft to get the hard guy. You can't become soft after. He's not going to tame you. You're a woman. What? Right? So we're getting you out of the city. Now we're talking jobs here. You got to pay the bills. Okay. Do something that's naturally feminine coded. We talked about the archetypes. I'll do another video on that, but maybe you're more into teaching. You like knowledge, etc. Okay, work in a library. Who cares if it's minimum wage? Stop buying stupid purses that nobody cares about. Okay? Would it be nice to get little aesthetic things? Yes, you'll do that when your man gets in, because you're going to solve that quickly. Okay? You can be a babysitter if you want to practice for motherhood, right? You can work in aesthetics if you want to do that, if you're very creative. Okay? If you like dealing with some kind of information and organizing things, you can be an editor. You can be a bookkeeper if you're more verbal, etc. Okay, you can work in psychology. See, this is what I think women don't understand about me. When I say like your dad should take care of you, they think I'm saying sit at home and just wait for your man. And it's more nuanced than that. I'm not just saying proactively attract your man. I'm like, women across history, I don't like to use the word work, because work implies that work, it is, if you want to do it in a physics sense, work, energy, joules, watts, we can do the conversion there. But I'm like, it's energy. Yes, everything in life takes energy. Women were not just sitting there. Even back in the day, they were foraging, they were gathering berries, they were creating, right? Lionesses still hunt smaller prey. They always love to say the lionesses hunt the prey in packs. I'm like, yeah, the lions, the male ones, still hunt the bigger prey. It's fine. It's okay. It's all right. Calm down. Calm down. Don't get angry at the lionesses. Calm down. All right. So my point being that it does take energy. And then people try to bring up the nuance. Oh, you must just be intimidated by intelligence. No woman's going to be analytically more smart than me, first of all. Okay, so please. But my resume is fine. I'm not intimidated by intelligence. It's that you have to bring something that I can't do myself, right? And if you're truly intelligent, you'd be able to get the love story you want. Okay, I'm still indirectly nuking. Hold on. Let me stop that. No, I'm trying to get to the point that, yes, intelligent men do want intelligent women, emotionally intelligent, which means knowing how to navigate your own emotions and others. And I'm like, that takes energy. Women are the community builders. Women are the matriarchs in a lot of different species. And even in the human species, why does menopause happen so late? Why do women live beyond menopause when they can't mate, right? In other species, lifeline is typically tied to when the women can't be fertile anymore. And they have a lot of theories on this. Let's not say this definitively, but there's a grandmother version, which is that the load on a single mother, like it is the majority of species, they're single moms, right, is too much that they have to allow for not only help from the grandmother, but the wisdom is passed on across generations. So the grandmother can carry this generational intelligence and wisdom to the next of kin, right? So I'm like, the point is your life. No one's talking about sitting at home twiddling your thumbs, right? But I'm like, your biggest calling is family. It is baby making. Same with the mans. This is what we're all here for. But the extensions that help surround that, life takes energy, 100%. You just don't have to do what the man has to do. So I'm like, you're going to want to be a part of your community. You are going to want to create. Can that make you money in life? Yeah, sure. Post stuff on Etsy, it can. But it's different when it's work in terms of a repression-based job where you have to show up and report to someone who's not your man. Right? You should report to him in the sense of, budget and things like that. If he's giving you $10,000 a month or whatever it is, it should be like, oh, honey, you spent like $8,000 on a new HVAC system. We don't need that. We just, whatever it is, right? But my point is, it is not about being you're taking us back to the 1950s, though I'd say those women were happier, right? Because there was more traditional polarity, okay? But you cannot say men are not masculine now because you are not willing to be in your feminine. You're scared. And then a man could say he's scared. Right? Or he's sad is really what happens with men. They have their first love, get their heart broken because they don't learn about the world, and then they get screwed. Then they start going for the older women who are so lonely they think they're winning with the trophy husband's son, basically, who bangs them. Right? So this is not the arrangement you want. We want you to have your love story. So yes, you can. I don't think a woman should have a job. I think she should have passions that I fund. But before I'm funding them, her father should. Before he's doing that, or if he's not doing that, sure. Let's do the most feminine thing you can that pays the bills. But that's what it should be, pays the bills. Because then the focus should be getting in a man to take care of you. This is the truth of how men think. You can ignore it. You can say, I'm an anecdote. It's not how other men think. I'm talking about masculine men. And I hate trying to, I don't like saying I'm an alpha, I'm a masculine man. But I'm like, hello, I'm here saying that I want to take care of a woman. I do take care of the women I do go for, right? I've created a platform to solve for her. I have money. I don't drink. I don't take any substances. I sleep with women and I'm direct with them. Like, I'm a good man. Whatever. He's a good man, Savannah, all right? My point being is that we do not, when I see a woman with her job, I'm not intimidated. I'm like, what? Okay, you wasted all your time doing this shit to bring pocket change salary to me. I'm smarter analytically. I'm always going to make more money than you. So it doesn't make sense, right? The only way a woman's going to be richer than me is if she comes from a richer family. And if even in that case, my dad started a $10 billion private equity fund, if we want to do the family comparison, it's not about that. It's about our story together, right? So I'm like, there's no way a woman's going to make more than me unless she's acting like a masculine man. And I'm like, even after I find my one, I'm still going to make more money than her. So it doesn't make sense. And I'm like, the real part, even screw the man out of this. What does it take for you to do that? It had to take stress. You did not need to do that. And then I know what they fall back on, but I want the lifestyle. But I want to be able to take care of myself and take myself out and go on travel and stuff. Why? The pleasure you get from that is less than love. Love. Imagine waking up to a man, not the men who have betrayed you and you chose incorrectly or gaslighted you. A man who truly loves you, who is masculine, who wants to solve problems, who is looking for that hearth when he comes home to soften him. How can you soften him if you are not having a soft life? You are not soft. You cannot soften him. You are not soft. We have to soften you. That is not a weakness. It is actually incredibly difficult to be soft nowadays, clearly. Just like it's incredibly difficult for a man to be masculine nowadays, right? I don't think it's difficult. I'm like, I get to have sex with tons of women and make money just by talking about what I want. I think people are just weak. That's the truth. But so you're going to be putting energy into things, okay? Pay the bills, and then we're going to put you on the dating apps. You cannot say, I don't do dating apps. Beggars can't be choosers. If you are getting DMs from quality guys, great. Let's do that method if you can sit back and relax. But you guys aren't. A lot of you aren't. So either optimize. See, I only take women seriously that I DM on Instagram and TikTok because I can basically search globally, right? And I have enough clout that they'll open my message. And my content is very demonstrative of the best man on earth. I use the dating apps primarily for sex. Maybe if I see some woman who's super beautiful, I just don't really. I don't do it anymore. Now that could motivate you to be like, okay, I'm not going to either. You haven't built what I built. Sorry. Okay. If you have, then you should be sitting back and you should have your man already. If you're past your early 20s and you don't have your guy, you got to have to be on the dating apps. Okay. Just letting you know that. But why do you feel like that's a weakness? It's just people on that. That's what you do for everything. Are you like, who's serving me food at this restaurant? It's a person doing a service. Dating apps are in the service of dating. It's millions of people on it. Unless you have a better strategy, you're going to go in person to hobbies. That doesn't make sense because the hobbies you're going to be going for are probably not male-coded. And if you're going to the male-coded ones, they're not going to be attracted to you. I'm going to join running club. Oh, you guys love each other because you run? What are you even running from? It's stupid. I'm going to go to a yoga class. Yeah, because masculine men, honestly, I would tell men go to yoga classes to bang those chicks, right? But I'm like, men are not going to go to yoga classes. So what, you're going to go to like a hardware shop? What? What's that going to do? That doesn't make sense. Now you were chasing the men? That sucks. No. So you just show up on the apps. Calm down, all right? You should pay for the premium. It's cheaper than 2 lattes, 2 matchas. And then you should not be swiping first on everyone. You should be only seeing who's swiped on you. Then you should only swipe right on the ones who don't look super undisciplined, meaning they're not fat, okay? But looks matter less in men, but you only swipe right on those, and then you don't even check their profile, because it's all a waste of time. What if you check their profile and they never message you? It's stupid. You first wait till they message you, and then you judge their message. If the message is good, then you go look at the profile. A lot of you do it in inverse. You're reading profiles, then you swipe right, and then they never match with you. Or they match with you and don't say anything. What a waste of your time. You're not getting any younger, kiddo, okay? You're going to do it the way I'm saying. It makes sense rationally. You get it, right? So it's a reverse filter. You don't respond to the haze. You don't respond to BS, all that stuff, but then your profile's got to be good. We can do that too. Then use my link. All right, if you're going to send individual profiles, I could get into dating advice right now. No, I wanted this message to be more macro about love, okay? Every day when I wake up, all I think about is her, okay? All I think about is her, because that is the core program, and I am of fertile baby-making age. It's coming up. It's time, right? Do I want to get into this? Women are going to get so upset about it. I don't really care, but yeah, my sperm quality is going to materially decline after 45 is the truth. So I've timed it. I want 5 kids. I'll survive with 4 if I have to. It doesn't matter. The point is I got to time it so that I have it within the next 2.5 years. I've also stored my sperm at 25, so that's negative because it's frozen, but at the same time, 25-year-old sperm probably healthier than, although my testosterone's up now relative to then, but who knows? There's degradation of a man's testosterone after he's 30, basically. It goes down, but I'm like, this is the trade-off. I'm like, okay, I could have shacked up at that age when my testosterone might have been genetically superior, but I have no resources to offer, so the quality of woman I get is lower. So I'm like, I'm still in the age where there's not really negative morphology, but as a woman, no, it's not equal. I've been seeing this stuff on TikTok, women saying that our egg quality doesn't go down. Like, do you guys know what menopause is? Like, it's called a geriatric pregnancy for a reason. The point is you want to optimize. And I talked to a woman about that if you want to store your eggs, if you have the money for it, do it. ChatGPT said, as soon as you're 28, if you haven't found your man, if you're going to be very focused and you don't want more than 2 kids or something, and you're going to take my advice, within a year we can solve it and get your love story. That's fine. But if not, and you want 2 kids or more than 2 kids, go pay for it if you can. I stored my sperm. I don't even need to, all right? And honestly, if there were no child support laws, I'd have tons of kids right now the proper way. But the government likes to support a fake matriarchy is really what's going to allow for monogamy for the weaker men to get a chance so that they don't go and poo-poo schools, basically. That's the truth, right? Because back in the day, the kings would just clean up, but now there's mini kings everywhere. Anyway, point being is I want you to prioritize the one thing. This is a lot of people will start saying that stuff like, oh, like some people aren't meant to be parents, and that's not the point. We're not talking about that. We're saying that if you don't have kids in your life by choice, you are materially more depressed. You have failed your evolutionary program. And if it's like, oh, I couldn't, okay, then go get an adoption with someone who's as close to you, or get your eggs taken out to have an external fertilization. I don't care. I don't care. I'm standing by that. If you no longer feel the maternal instinct to have a kid and you're single, let's not be rude, but you will be the toughest case to recover, because that is the most core instinct. The most core instinct. Okay? So I'm like, kids need to be your life and your joy. People always, my father would say that they always overestimate the stresses of having kids and underestimate the joys. Okay? I agree, a lot of people aren't equipped to being great parents, but my point is, it is your core program. So if you have gotten to a place where you're just thinking about, oh, I want this kind of man, but I don't know if I want kids, you better focus on that first. You better start hanging out with some kids. And the problem is you probably can't even feel softness for them because you're at your stress limit. And that's on you. We got to reduce your stress. So let's get back to that, actually, the intuition stuff. So we've gotten you out of the city now, right? We've cleaned up your room. We've de-stressed you a bit. We've gotten you to pay the bills through a minimum low-invasive job, right? Low-stress job. Now community. You're going to need at least one friend who you can be emotionally vulnerable with. To be vulnerable, you have to know what you're feeling. Some people learn about what they're feeling through internal journaling. Some people, like me, write their poetry and make these videos. Some people need to talk to their girlfriend to figure out what they're feeling through brainstorming. Some people need to walk through nature. You got to figure out how to access your feelings. You cannot do that if you are stressed. And if there's loud noises, if there's people being rude to you, right? If you had to wake up at a job when you're bleeding, okay? So that's the next step. Emotional intimacy is like food to you. You'll always end up sleeping with a guy too soon, etc. if you're emotionally starved. If you're emotionally full, you're going to be like, I'm at this level with my heart. You haven't made me feel that level, so how could I spread my legs for you? That's how it works. No woman has gotten a date out of me without banging her in... I don't know if you want to count a walk as a date, but let's say a date where lasted for more than a day, where it's like a proper date. In 12 years. I know that actually sounds crazy because it's like, oh, what's wrong with you? No, I've been smashing tons of chicks. Good for me. Right? And I've been in a relation. It was a failure. Some people like to use that as a test for men. Have you been in a relationship? It's a negative if it didn't last. That means he got simped, he screwed, and he chose wrong. Now, actually, I wanted to talk about that, a men's first love thing. A lot of y'all don't get that. We can get into some of the biochemistry. Don't want to do that now. Let's finish off this intuition thing. So you need some sense of community and being understood. Ideally through family and friends first. You do not need a man for that, okay? Now, after you do that, use Bumble BFF for that. Train your ChatGPT, your personality, to be like your personality type. Take the test at 16personalities.com. That's a nice little foreshadowing for another video I'll make about Myers-Briggs. But a lot of times I see girls who are like, yeah, my friend is the polar opposite personality as me. I think that means you have low self-esteem. I'm like, girls should be around girls who are like themselves. That means you love yourself. That is the truth. Like when it's your polar opposite, it's a rejection of yourself. You're almost getting polarity, aka masculine energy, through this friend. And that'll set the weird female coded version such that when you meet a man like her, because you like your polarity, right? You're going to feel a closer affinity to her because she's your friend than his style. And it's going to tangle your wires. So I'm like, you should be a little flock, a beehive of women like yourself. Yeah, that's the truth. But it's honestly, I would almost say like in the healthiest version, your guy in a conceptual vacuum should be willing to date all of your girls in terms of emotional depth, but he likes you because you're subjectively his perfect type. But I'm like, dispositionally, it should be like, oh, all your friends are nice girls. Some of you may get threatened by that. Like, no, he's got to hate my girlfriends. Then what does that say about you? Like, then how does he like you? You guys are supposed to be similar. Just, I don't get that. Now, it's not about having the exact same hobbies and stuff, but it's like your disposition should be the same. It's not like, oh, one's super extroverted and one's super introverted. One's a party girl and I like to stay at home. That's a BS. It's insane. You got to reflect deeper on that. Those are also the girls who typically have guy friends, etc. It's like they're having the girlfriend who's like more aggro than them, and then they have a guy who's a weak ass. It's insane. So the point is you need a good friend, okay? Because it sets the baseline of which the man has to be better than to break in, because you've created such a rich, safe world that you can't get turned on. And this ties to my whole 12-year thing, which is like, yeah, I'm in a polarity. I don't do any... I only do I'm going to bang you or I'm going to be with you forever. There's no in between. I don't do friends with benefits. I never bang a woman more than once, basically. That's the truth. That's where I'm at. And that's healthy as a man because it means I'm keeping my heart guarded. The goldest heart. Like you keep your body guarded. The goldest body, but you got to use that heart. And your heart is not divergent like a man's D. His is divergent. New girl. Across species. You can't say he has to discipline himself. What if I said discipline your heart? Just don't feel anything. Spread those legs. Come on, baby. It's crazy. Now, you care about depth. We talked about this in the last video, right? So I'm like, you need a woman who repetitively gets to understand you over and over and over again. You can build rapport and depth in that, right? It's almost like if you had the option to have like 1,000 men comment hard eyes under your video, it's a good test. The girls who have a ton of followers typically crave that. Short quantity validation versus you have one man who's been obsessed and sending you gifts. The Eastern European girls like that. That's better, right? The healthy ones. You want doting that fills your valve. So to do that, you got to first fill your valve as much as you can with your friends and family. Now, if you can't get that, you should be able to start with those friends thing. But I'm like, that should also extend now. We get to the dating app. You take your journal entry or you take something that you shared with a friend, etc., and you send it to men and you see how they handle it. That doesn't imply your opening message as soon as they say, hey, I saw your profile. It was really cool that you said that. You got to learn how to do the profile, watch my videos or reserve me using the link. You don't immediately say, oh, by the way, I've been thinking about this. But it's very easy if you have basic emotional intelligence. You just say, hey, thanks. Like, yeah, I actually did that. Thanks for messaging. I like your style, the way you asked that question. And be like, yeah, but I've been thinking about something, for the past few days. Simple. It's like an easy lead in, or like, yeah, I've been feeling a lot about that recently. If he gives a shit, he'll say about what? Then you just boom, send that emotional thing, something vulnerable about you, and see how he handles it. If he cannot handle you when he's so motivated to bang you, what's going to happen 3 weeks after the first bang when the novelty has faded and he's heard you farting, right? You want to make sure that's into cute territory. But this is in the version where he's super into crazy excited, where he's not deeply in love yet, right? As soon as he hears you, he should hear you fart before he's deeply in love with you, obviously, right? And the point is, if you're not showing who you are, what is he loving? But the problem is, a lot of you aren't showing what you are because you don't know who you are, because you're not giving yourself the space to see yourself. You have these little wisps of like, I want love, but men aren't masculine. This job I have to, I'm going to Dubai. Like, slow it down. We have one life. There is someone out there who's spent years, since the Big Bang, searching for the love of his life. And I'm telling you, it happens when you least expect it. Imagine I said that about food. Food will come when I least expect it. You'd starve and you'd be donezo. Everything in life, energy expended is energy received. The quality of women I talk to now and have access to now relative to before I started this is exponentially better. The last girl I dated was a 19-year-old virgin ISFP who was runner-up in Miss Sweden. Those are all the tacky emotional things, but I'm like, or non-emotional things, but I'm like, she was soft, she painted, she asked questions. Now, a lot of people will be like, why didn't you date her, etc. No, well, you know what? She wasn't soft enough. It's the full truth. And this is going to sound, but it's a man's thing. Like, you got to be hotter than the ex, So physically she was, body-wise, but the face, and I'm not even putting down her face or anything like that, but I'm like, there's biochemistry that aligns with different things, like doe eyes versus angry eyebrows is high testosterone and stuff. I'm naturally drawn to a certain type of puppy eye thing, and it ties to the type I'm most drawn to. So I'm like, yeah. So anyway, the point is, no to her, okay? And the family upbringing made her a little bit bratty because her dad wasn't fully masculine and all this stuff. So I'm not I don't need to justify my life here, okay? No. But the point is, yeah, she was very close. Like, I'm like, I was close, like, and I would not have met her. She was in a small village in the middle of nowhere in Sweden, and she was a follower. How would I have met her swiping randomly? Oh, well, you guys have to do that. I get that. Listen, I could have done that, but the point is I built something of value, and I've done that. If you create a great profile, I said this in the last video, then let the man just come in. Let him just chase you, for sure. But if not, you're allowed to show up in front of him, okay? I mean, she showed up in front of me. She liked one of my things. And I should have known. As soon as I messaged her, she tried to debate me on Myers-Briggs, and who ended up teaching her? I mean, this guy right here. Whatever. It's fine. Point being is that energy results in results. Energy results in results. I like that. But it is that a lot of you are just lazy because you're in pain. So it's easier to say, no, it'll happen when you least expect it, right? I talk to women all day. I've interacted with over 1 million if you include my comments, right? I have 10 million likes on all my videos, and I have 91% female audience. You think I don't know what's going on out there? I understand what's going on out there. And I'm saying, even without my anecdotal pulse and read, I'm like, look at the biology of it. Does it get easier to believe in love or harder as time passes? And all you have are memories of the last guy who was not good for you. It's hard. I empathize. I understand. I'm like, we're going to get you to believe, and it's going to take energy. It almost might feel unfair. Like, wait, I've been through all this crap, and now I have to do more than the 21-year-old girl? What the heck? I should have to do less because I went through all this crap, so I deserve a cookie from the universe. Unfortunately, it's like if you're depressed from a breakup and you eat ice cream and you get fat, you actually have to do even more now, which sucks because you just got dumped. And that's sad. It's a sad thing. But I'm like, the universe beats up losers. It's the hardest thing to admit, but it's like, this is a more masculine coded thinking. But I'm like, if you're down, the universe pushes you more down. If you say, I'm going to get up, the universe is like, huh. That sounds mystical, but I'm just saying it's really just your energy translates to results, and there's a little delay with how it translates is the point. I'm like, there are days in a short version, it would be like, I swipe. I'm like horny. I'm like, I got to smash. And I swipe, and get nothing. And then if I fall back from it and I'm like, I don't know, like maybe this is like, I don't think the girls are actually feeling it right now. And maybe I'm like bloated or something. And it's like, what's happening with the holidays and stuff like that. Then I just get nothing. But then if I'm like, no, I want this. Then 3 days later, I get tons of matches and I bang like 3 girls. Okay. So whatever. You guys can't relate to that as much, but whatever. That's my point. That we have to get you to believe again. Okay. And it's very hard to light a flame in the snow. So we got to warm you up. I'm here to warm you up. All right. I'm all heat. And a lot of times, sometimes I turn my heat against you guys because I'm trying to warn you against becoming what you are. So probably it feels like an attack. But I'm trying to warn you against pain. But a lot of times you guys identify with it because you're in that. Like I'm yelling about don't be a fourth wave feminist and be a career boss. And you're in that. So it feels like a personal attack. I'm trying to get you to the side where you feel happy. If you are happy, then you should just like what I'm saying. All right. We're on the same page here. But if you're unhappy and if you don't want to learn from me, I'm like, why are you here? What is drawing you to me? Like, ask that question. Why do you feel the need to put me down? Do you think I'm an oppressive, patriarchal misogynist? I'm making these videos to make all women make me sourdough? I don't even like sourdough. Why am I doing this, right? You can think I'm wrong, etc., but I'm like, I'm expressing this, right? If it's completely flawed, it shouldn't have an impact in the world. But I am having an impact in the world, right? Negative things can have impacts in worlds too, but I'm like, there aren't women who are messaging me, thank you so much, you've changed my life, and helped me find love. How is that a bad thing? Right? Women aren't messaging me saying, you got me fired from my job, what the heck, I'm so poor now. That it's not happening, right? I'm like, I'm here trying to convince you to believe in love. Just think about how ludicrous that is, right? It's like sugar, the healthy version, glucose. So it's fine. I get it. I empathize, okay? I really understand. And yet that is the drag that stunted me earlier, which is like, yeah, the holidays are coming up. Like, you know, Halloween's my favorite holiday. And I feel it. You know, the days are darker. They have that whole seasonal affective depression thing that definitely affects women more. It's cuffing season for you guys. I'm like, I feel it. I feel lonely. You think I don't want to, it's not even, I don't want to do these things with women. It's just like, I just want to love someone. It's not even I need to be loved. What is it? See, this is where now the man stuff's coming. I don't even know how to fucking read myself. Let's do this. Let's do this. I don't understand how you can live life. And it's like, if you believed in Harry Potter, wouldn't you want to get into Hogwarts? I'm like, love is real. It's a real thing. I know you can go on YouTube and see those old couples who are together, etc. I know you can read the biochemistry, etc. You can watch my videos to know it's real. You can read the studies yourself. You know it's real. You felt little sparks of it that didn't last. Imagine the story that lasts forever. And you're telling me you don't wake up every day wanting that? The only way you're not able to do that is if you're purposely shutting your brain off out of fear from past pain. And I'm like, where did that deep pain even come from? It came from you wanting and you hoping at some point that you could have the very thing that I'm trying to convince you of right now. You already believe. You already want what I'm telling you. I'm just trying to wake you up. That's the truth. Okay, we're all in this boat together. And I'm like, this is a net benefit. Like, love is not something, it's not like you build the bricks of your house and then it creates a guard. It's like every layer, every step, every heartbeat towards your story will benefit. I think about that with some of my videos now. I'm like, some of my videos get like 200 views. And then I've had some that have 2 million. And I'm like, this is my portfolio, my vault, my chamber, my admission and confession for her. And one day she'll go through all of it. It's all worth it, every step. You know, I'm not doing just TikTok dances or something like that. I'm creating something of value. I'm showing my value. And you guys got to show up too. But to show up, you got to feel like you're worthy of being loved. I think some of the angriest women who have gone in the direction of saying they don't believe in love need it the most. And again, the tough part is life is not a handout. You won't get it because you necessarily just sit there and think you deserve it. We got to get it. We got to get our story, and you can, okay? So I want you to feel that like, even though you and I may never meet, right? Even if this is the only video or snippet you hear of me, you have to know that there is someone under the same sun, the same stars, the same moon, on the same earth as you, who believes to his core in true love. And this is better than any movie I've seen. And trust me, I've seen every rom-com. That's how I can seduce women so well, because I know what they take in. But this is better than anything any human has written, because I'm living it. That's the point. I'm creating this. It's better than a fairy tale because I know I made this. It's a lot of pressure too. Because if I don't do this, it's not going to happen. It's like a sales job. You only make commission if you close. And I'm going to close. I'm going to close for you all. I'm going to close for myself. Most importantly, I'm going to close for my kids and for her. So honestly, it may be more beneficial for you to go to my poetry page on Better Than Poetry at Instagram. See a man who's been doing this before he even had Instagram and clout and all this BS. Right? It's the man who's wanted you in the shadows before having you that truly craves you. You don't want the man. A lot of times I see women who say, on our date, we had such a good time. You had such a good time. If he did, he'd be following up. You want the man who wants you when you're not there in front of him. Men are very sensory. They're very visual. They're girls I bang who it feels like when I'm in the room with them, that's why I'm so good at it, honestly, is the truth. I was telling my friend would sometimes ask that. He's like, how do you bang like a girl who looks like a model one day and then the next day it's like a girl who's like super not fit and stuff? And I was like, when I'm in the room with them, I don't feel other women. I don't feel like I'm putting on an act. It's like I know it's like an actor deciding I'm in the scene now. And when I'm in there, it's just me and them. I don't feel the love, but I feel the affection. And the second they leave, it's like I remember, I'm in a movie. But I'm like, I feel it. It's like I create that one-on-one is real to me. It's real. So point being that, the ability to connect, even, and yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of women who hate me because I didn't date them after I slept with them, all that stuff. I've been in fights with women. I've been rude. I've used every name in the book that you might hate, 100%. Okay. I'm not claiming that I've been perfect. I've gotten here because of all of my failure. Okay. And I'm still going to fail. That's the truth. Honestly, love, if you're hearing this, I'm scared I'll fail. I'm scared I'll be disappointed and then try to get control in some indirect way, and I'll want to see that you can handle the beast. I'm worried about all of it. But I'm here even with that worry. I'm here scared that you'll be scared of me. I'm scared of myself. And I'm going to work through all of it. I'm going to do it, and we're going to do it together. And there's going to be times where I let you down. And I'm going to pick myself up to pick you up. That's the truth. Okay? And not every day is going to feel like our wedding. Not every day is going to feel like this nice little honeymoon phase. And that's okay, because we built something real here. We built a foundation. Understand? And I don't even have you in my arms yet. And I know, and I believe, and it's in my core. I know what I want. Okay? And I want you. So I want you all to know that even if we never meet, even if this is the only snippet, I'm like, you were in this room with me. Okay? And I believe in you. I don't care if you're the antithesis of what I say I want in a woman. I don't care. You're still just a little girl to me. That's the truth. And I know because I've been a little boy. Okay? So I'm like, it's okay. Wherever you are right now, there may be things that are not great. There may be things that hurt. I'm sure there are. It's okay. It's all right. Okay? You're not alone is the key. You're not alone anymore. You're here. All right? And the real truth, if you really want to feel the warm hug around your heart, you have not been alone, because I've been doing this before you even ran across this video, okay? Even before I was born, my parents just had to bang, and their parents had to bang, and your parents, and all that stuff, so that we could have this beautiful moment together, this little magic. And isn't that amazing? Isn't that something? If that's not deeper than Disney, I don't know what is. So we're going to write our story. We get one life to do this. Don't you want to be in the arms of a man who truly sees you? Who wants to see you? That's what I think about. When I think about her, I feel myself slow down. I can feel her. I don't feel the urgency I feel all the time. It's like I can see. Like I'm always willing to fight. I'm always willing to fight. And I'm like, when I feel her, I'm like, nothing's a fight, really. It's like holding hands with a dance. You're going back and forth, and you can just slow it down. And that's what I want as a man, and that's what the men you should want will want in you. To be able to slow a man down, you have to slow your life down, right? There's no rush. There's no rush to do the things that you're probably doing right now. He'll come in and take care of that. He should have been rushing his life to be able to create the things that'll take care of you. The only rush you need right now is your heart being filled. Are you not tired of being lonely? Let's put those days behind us, okay? Let's call out into what feels like the void and let someone hold your hand on the other side. And that ties to what this whole thing was for me. That is my mantra. That's what started these videos. It was high love of my life. And I didn't know who would hear it on the other side. Even this video, all I need is her. I almost joked about it the other day. I'm like, what if I just keep losing followers to the point where she's my only follower? And she's the only girl I'd follow. I don't follow any women. I'm going to write a poem tonight. I'm going to post it. You guys can go see it on my Instagram and my TikTok, just so that you see that I'm a man of my word, that men of their word do exist. The men who may seem super emotionally unavailable, etc. I'm right here. Okay? Narcissist, my ego's higher than all the fake narcissists you've met. Love bombing, I'm more eloquent than any dude you're going to meet. So if you felt misunderstood, and if you've landed here, something has brought us together. The algorithm, we could say, but no. You searched, you found, you're here. We're here now, you're safe. Okay? You don't have your story yet, neither do I, right? Look at Ponst. Look at these guys. Look how sweet they are. Yeah? It's okay. You'll be okay, all right? So, I remember some tangents I made at the beginning of this video. I told myself I'd come back to them, but we land where we land.